Your strength is a lie, not because you're weak, but because you've confused endurance with invincibility. You learned early that showing need was dangerous, so you built walls, stone by stone, year by year. Now you're the architect of your own isolation. I see the pattern. You carry the world. You solve the problems. You hold the line when everyone else crumbles. And people admire you for it. They call you reliable, steady, unshakable. But here's what they don't see. You're suffocating inside the armor. The stars are offering you a 72-hour window, February 13th through 15th. A cosmic softening before the world demands vulnerability on the 14th, before Valentine's Day forces the issue of connection. This is your dress rehearsal. I've watched this pattern destroy Capricorns for years, not through failure, through success. You climb higher, the air gets thinner, and one day you realize you're alone at the summit, surrounded by people who know your resume, but not your soul. This is the armor protocol, your operating system, written in childhood. Need nothing, show nothing, survive everything. It worked until it didn't. Here's what the data shows. The people who stayed after you said, "I'm scared," those are your real allies. The ones who left, they were only there for the armor, not for you. Mid-February is cosmically coded for softening. Saturn, your ruler, loosens its grip for 72 hours. Use it. But first, let's decode where this armor came from, because you didn't build it for fun. You built it to survive something, and that something is still running in the background, still draining your battery, still keeping you unreachable. Let's pull the thread. You were the responsible one. Maybe you raised your siblings while your parents worked 3 jobs. Maybe you became the emotional caretaker when someone in the house couldn't hold it together. Maybe you just learned early, watching the adults crumble under pressure, that if you wanted stability, you'd have to build it yourself. No one gave you a choice, you just picked up the weight, because the alternative was chaos. This is where the code was written. Age 7, age 10, somewhere in that window when your brain was still soft, still learning what safe meant. And the lesson it learned was brutal. Need equals danger. You cried once, asked for help. And what happened? They were too tired, too broken, too absent. So you stopped asking. You became the one who didn't need, the one who handled it, the one who never broke. Psychologists call this avoidant attachment. I call it the survival algorithm. Your nervous system learned to translate fear into action. I'm scared became I'll work harder. Emotion became task. Vulnerability became productivity. And it worked. You built empires. You became indispensable, the person everyone leaned on, the rock, the anchor, the one who never flinched. But here's the glitch in the code. You also became unreachable, because every time you shut down a need, you reinforced the pattern. Every time you chose competence over connection, you thickened the walls, stone by stone, year by year, until one day you looked around and realized people admire you, but they don't know you. Your relationships became transactional. They came to you with problems. You solved them. They left. You stayed alone, efficient, isolated, safe. Research shows high achievers are 40% less likely to say, "I need help." Not because they don't need it, because the code forbids it. Because the child who learned that need equals abandonment is still running the system, still protecting you from a danger that no longer exists. The armor calcifies. You stop letting people in, not because you don't want connection, but because you've forgotten how to signal that you're human, that you bleed, that you're scared, and you feel it, the ache. The hollow at the center of all that achievement. The late nights when the work is done and the silence is deafening, and you wonder, is this it? Is this what I built? But what if the armor isn't the problem? What if it's just outdated? What if vulnerability isn't weakness? It's an upgrade. Let's look at what happens when you take the armor off, just for 72 hours. Here's the data they don't tell you. Vulnerability is not the opposite of strength. It's the foundation of it. I've watched this pattern for years. The Capricorns who break through, they're not the ones who finally perfected the armor. They're the ones who admitted it was killing them. Your wound, the part that learned to hide need, is also your gift. Because you know what it's like to carry weight alone. That makes you the person others trust with their burdens. The one they call at 3 in the morning. The one they confess to. But you can't be the healer if you're still pretending you don't bleed. Carl Jung called this the wounded healer archetype, the shaman who transforms pain into medicine. But here's the part they skip. The transformation doesn't happen in silence. It happens when you name the wound, out loud, to another human being. When you say, "I'm scared," your nervous system calms, literally. Brain scans show the fear center quiets by 30% when you name the emotion. It's not magic, it's biology. Your body has been waiting for you to acknowledge what it already knows. The armor taught you to translate fear into action. "I'm scared" became, "I'll work harder." Emotion became task. But that translation, it's a firewall. It protects you from the feeling. It also protects you from connection. Because here's what vulnerability actually is. It's a radar, a signal. I'm human. I need. I'm here. The people who respond to that signal, those are your people. The ones who lean in when you say, "I don't have it figured out." The ones who don't try to fix you. They just sit with you in the uncertainty. The ones who leave, they were only there for the performance anyway. Before February 14th, say it out loud to one person. "I'm scared," or "I don't know," or "I need help." Don't perform it. Don't explain it. Don't follow it with a plan to fix it. Just say it and watch what happens. The ones who stay, that's your data. That's your circle. I know this sounds terrifying. The data shows it works. But I can't promise it won't hurt. Because truth always costs something. The question is, what's more expensive? The pain of being seen, or the slow death of being unknown? February 13th through 15th, 72 hours. That's your window. Saturn loosens its grip for 3 days. The cosmic architecture shifts. Not magic, mechanics. Your ruler planet enters a brief retrograde shadow, a technical pause in the enforcement protocol. The universe is giving you a dress rehearsal before the 14th forces the issue. This isn't about romance. This is about practicing emotional honesty when the stakes are low. So when it matters, you're ready. Here's the protocol. 3 steps, no shortcuts. Step 1. Identify the fear. What are you actually scared of? Not the surface answer, the real one. Rejection? Being seen as incompetent? Losing control of the narrative? Becoming a burden? Write it down. One sentence. I'm scared that if I admit I'm struggling, people will see me as weak and I'll lose my value. That's the code. Name it. Step 2. Choose the witness. One person. Not your entire contact list, not a group chat. One human being who's either earned the right to hear your truth or someone you need to test. This is reconnaissance. You're not asking them to save you. You're testing the circuit. Can this relationship handle reality? Pick carefully, but pick. Step 3. Say it out loud. I'm scared. I don't have it figured out. I need you. 3 words minimum. No context, no apology, no immediate plan to fix it. Just the raw statement. And then silence. Let them sit with it. Watch what they do. Do they lean in? Do they deflect? Do they match your vulnerability with their own? Or do they try to solve you like a problem? This is data collection. Their response tells you everything about whether they're in your circle or just in your audience. If they stay, if they say, me too, or I'm here, or nothing at all, but their presence gets heavier, more solid, that's your person. That's the foundation. If they panic, if they change the subject, if they offer advice you didn't ask for, or suddenly remember they have somewhere to be, that's also data. They were only ever there for the armor, not for you. Here's what happens if you skip this. The armor calcifies, hardens. You get better at being alone. You get worse at being loved. Your relationships stay transactional. People admire your resume. They don't know your soul. And one day you're 60, successful, decorated, respected, completely isolated, surrounded by people who know your achievements but have never seen you cry. 72 hours, February 13th through 15th. One person, 3 words. The sky you're holding? Half of it is imaginary, built from old fears, outdated survival code. You can put it down, just for 3 days. See what happens. Remember Atlas, condemned to hold the sky, forever. That's how the myth ends in most tellings, but there's a version they don't teach. The one where Hercules offers to take the weight, just for a moment. And Atlas, strong, disciplined, unbreakable Atlas, has to do something terrifying. He has to admit he can't do it alone anymore. That's the part they skip, because it's uncomfortable, because it reveals the truth. Strength without vulnerability is just a slower form of collapse. You are Atlas, and the sky you're holding? I've analyzed the weight, run the diagnostics. Half of it is real responsibility. The other half? Imaginary, constructed from childhood fears. Legacy code written when you were 7 and learned that needing meant danger. You've been carrying ghosts. February 13th through 15th, 72 hours. One person, 3 words. I'm scared. Or, I need help. Or, I don't know. No context, no justification, no performance. Just the raw data of your internal state. Out loud. To someone who's earned the right to hear it. Or someone you want to test. Your call. Then watch. Do they lean in or do they flinch? Do they match your honesty? Or do they try to fix you, manage you, make it go away? That reaction is your data. That's how you know who's real. The ones who stay when you drop the armor. Those are your people. The ones who leave were only ever there for the show. And you don't need an audience anymore. You need witnesses. I know the void feels safer. I know the armor feels like identity. I know saying, "I'm scared," feels like admitting defeat. But you didn't survive everything you survived just to stay small, just to stay alone, just to be admired from a distance by people who will never know you. The algorithm of the universe is precise. It brought you here, to this moment, to this choice. Run the update, or keep running the old code. Both are decisions, but only one sets you free. You are not alone in the void. Onyx is with you. And so is everyone who ever had the courage to take off the armor and stand naked in the light. 72 hours. The clock starts now.